movements and the changes there in relation to 0.05 and that kind of thing. Why are we seeing such high levels of violence? Falls, drownings, these are all injuries that are in part attributable to alcohol. There's about 60 different conditions that are attributable, and we lose about 3,000 or more people every year from alcohol attributable conditions for the risky high-risk drinking. So that's homicide, falls, drowning, suicide. We lose another 2,000 to long-term chronic diseases like alcoholic liver cirrhosis. Breast cancer is one that people aren't aware of, and that has an alcohol component as well. So the cost is about $7.6 billion per year, and that's an old estimate. That's many years old now. But it's greater than the cost of all illicit drugs combined. And that's something you don't hear touted very often in the media.
So that cost of the damage socially caused by alcohol now in fact outweighs the excise, the $5.5 billion that comes into the government from the industry, but we don't hear many people in government pointing to alcohol as a problem. Most of the talk this past couple of weeks has been about the illicit drugs by some sportsmen.
I agree. I think in part because, like I said before, it's much sexier to talk about illicit drugs.
It's also illegal.
And it's also illegal. Alcohol is a legal drug, but let's remember, it is a drug. So, whichever way you look at it, it is a psychoactive substance that taken in large amounts can be highly toxic.
But Jeff, I don't think we're ignoring it. I mean, we've got a new national alcohol strategy which has highlighted the problems, particularly that drunkenness causes, and none of us in either side of this debate support, promoting drunkenness, and a lot of the health problems really result from people having too much to drink. And the new alcohol strategy, which has been signed off by all states in the Commonwealth, is aimed at developing a drinking culture and addressing those areas where we do have problems. I mean, we're not denying the people I represent that we don't have problems in the area of binge drinking. The people that used to go and have 3 or 4 or 5 schooners a night probably don't exist, or if they do, they're probably over 50 or 60. And there are real problems with young people periodically drinking too much, and in many cases these unfortunate accidents and physical harm result from that pattern of drinking. So I don't think that you've got denial on the part of governments. We've got an alcohol strategy which sets a program for us to go forward. And I think, as Natalie said, the key to us is to stop debating whether there's an issue here. There are issues in certain areas, but at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 people drink. Most drink responsibly, but let's focus on those areas which are causing harm to the community.
Can I just jump in there? Because I disagree with the 9 out of 10 people drink responsibly, because the reality is that well over 60% of all the alcohol that's drunk in this country is drunk in a manner which puts the drinker at risk or high risk of harm. So, and that's from our national surveys, we know that. Now, it varies by age group. If you're talking about young people, we're talking over 80% of all the alcohol consumed that is drunk in a risky or high-risk fashion. That's a real issue. I think one of the things that we fail to recognise is that when we talk about alcohol problems, we think misfits, alcohol abusers, people who are problematic, maybe just young people. But the reality is these 80,000 or so hospitalisations, thousands of deaths aren't caused by a minority. In actual fact, they're caused by the majority who mess up occasionally.
Robin, does your research, can I say,